Yeah, good. Welcome to my diary this afternoon. So our usual no holds bar conversation again this afternoon. So if you read the caption, which is an update on the trial of Omoyele Sowore, the AAC presidential candidate, and our own man, Comrade Omoyele Sowore, as well as Comrade Olawale Bakare, which is also known as Mandate. So they appear in court today. So if you read the caption of the broadcast, but just give me a moment, let me shut this. So if you are just joining me, welcome to my Ego's Diary once again this afternoon. And we will use this opportunity as well to send message out to our traducers, our oppressors, and those who enjoy seeing us cry, weep, and agonize. Those we call leaders, those we give power to, who are now using the same power to traumatize us, oppress us, and in fact, imprison us. So it is now obvious that Nigeria DSS has only Facebook video as evidence of coup plot against Buhari. Now they want their witnesses to wear masks to testify against the Sowore. So I will also briefly mention the sack of 35 of 88 of Osinbajo. You must have been reading about the news here and there, so I'll give you a bit of an update on that. So you might be able to also call in to make a contribution this afternoon, but we won't be here for long. So let me go over it quick. So thank you so much for joining me once again this afternoon. And you all saw Omoyele Sowore in court today. Before today, there was this social media buzz. I think it was a week ago or thereabout. Social media buzz of Pastor Sulaiman. I wrote something about that this afternoon, and some people lost their mind. They are losing their mind on that post right now, which is understandable. But it won't stop what I have said. Sowore Sowore and his legal team rejected the offer, the bogus offer, I called it, the bogus mockery offer from Sulaiman. And we all know why that came to be. But the fact that Omoyele Sowore was granted a bail for some time now, a bail that we have all considered as a ransom, not bail. So more or less like asking someone for something that, he never has. But however, we found out that there are people who have stood up to stand shorty for Omoyele Sowore when this popped up. And in fact, it was the DSS, the Daura Secret Service, that have stopped his lawyers from fulfilling the bail condition. So far, so good. We have been told that it was the DSS who stopped Sowore's lawyers from filing for his bail or fulfilling his bail condition as ordered by the court. So today, the same DSS appeared in court. We were expecting them to present their case. We were expecting them to present their evidence. In fact, without the knowledge of the defense counsel, Sowore's lawyers, the court registrar in Abuja agreed to an arrangement that was never agreed to by Sowore's defense. And what was that agreement? DSS, who told us that Sowore was planning to overthrow Buhari through revolution now. And some Buharidins and the Buhari Diderits, the Buhari Dinotus, the Buhari Dijatus, the Buhari Shokus, the Ungoziaris, the Mumu Madus, the Bele lecturers, the Mumu lecturers, the obedient fools, the ungood slaves and the fences and so on and so forth, agreed with the DSS that Sowore was calling for the overthrow of Buhari, and therefore DSS needed to act. And when they acted, they decided to sue him take him to court for trying to overthrow Buhari. And guess what? Just like the Buharidins, the Buharididiris, the articulated morons, the articulators, the articulated idiots. I'm talking about the humble slaves, those who worship their own same oppressors, those who saw Atiku Abubakar as a hero, who saw Bukola Saraki as a hero, who saw Kwakwanso as a hero, who saw, what's that other guy's name from Sokoto, Tambuwa as a hero. The same set of people who saw these guys as heroes simply because they only have just one single evidence against Omoyele Sowore, and that evidence is the video on social media, the video that Sowore never shied away from. He's never shied away from his position on everything that has to do with Nigeria. The same video that have triggered this set of Nigerians who will never confess to the truth that most of them are actually agonizing from the unexpected shock loss of the election by Goodluck Jonathan in 2015. Many of them are actually like living in denial. Some of those who are traducers of Omoyele Sowore. So DSS is relying on social media video where Sowore said, we will take back our country. We will send the criminals away. We will send all these untrained armed criminals away. That is the evidence that scared shit out of these criminals in power in Abuja and the Aminaus all over the country, and as well as on social media. Facebook video, the same way I believe I must have committed treason myself with my videos, with my utterances and the rest of that. And to an average Buharidin and Buharididiri, the illiterate Buhari Shuku and Ngoziari, I'm talking about the lost souls of those Mumuma, those Bele lecturers and the Mumu lecturers, the conquered slaves, those ones we call the humbled slaves and the obedient fools. They relied, they got triggered because of what Omoyele Sowore said on social media. And this is exact same thing, evidence that the DSS in Nigeria has against Omoyele Sowore. Social media video can overthrow an illiterate president, an illegitimate government. And then, people get triggered for that. So, Sowore has met his bail condition for a very long time, but for a reason best known to the Daura Secret Service, they decided never for his lawyers to have access to him. So they've not even built a case to defend. But at the end of the day, we realize that even DSS has no case, not even a single one to present, at least show us evidence that Sowore was planning to overthrow Buhari through revolution now, as they have said. Then they came up with this mad narrative. Oh, why are the Yorubas not standing up for Sowore? I'm talking about those sore losers, those those who are living in denial. I'm talking about those that will tell you the reason why Sowore must die in prison. Not because Showore's death is going to change their lives. No, it's not going to change their lives. Their lives are will continue to be worse and worse and worse and worse off. Not because there is any cost on them. It is because of the it's because of the political decisions they have decided to make, or the ones they've made in the past, and the one they keep making that keeping them in that perpetuity of nothingness. So Sowore wants a better country, and he's never hid it. He stood up when the criminal gang of that era ganged up against Goodluck Jonathan to stop him from being the substantive president of Nigeria. Omoyele Sowore used this platform, Sahara Reporters, to fight that battle that eventually led to the disbandment of this, they call them the casino mafia at the time, led by Turai Yaradua. But today, Sowore should die in prison because these lunatics, I don't know how to describe many of you. I'm talking about those who are always very much ready to remind us that Sowore brought Buhari to power. Sowore is working for Tinubu. Sowore is working for Buhari, and so on and so forth. But guess what? The same set of ignorant buffoons Any of them watching me right now, getting triggered, getting angry, getting so upset. Shut up, my friend. You don't know what you are talking about. Yes, I do know what I'm talking about. The reason why I don't sound like you is because I have not accepted Atiku Abubakar as my own savior. I have not ever looked up to Bukola Saraki as someone who is going to save me from Buhari or who is going to save Nigeria from Buhari. No, I've never looked like that. I've never looked up to those criminals you look up to who are actually businessmen under that umbrella. And those of you who follow those who carry the brooms, like the normal native, the normal native doctors that we know before APC came to prominence, so to say. Do you know why I'm not sounding right like you? It's simply because I've never looked up to these criminals. Not for once, not ever. As those who can actually get us out of the whole mess. Omoyele Sowore is our best bet. He has the cleanest, the best record you can come across. Your anger, your rage, your disappointment, your frustration, your whatever you want to name it, he is not the architect of that you are going through right now. Because if he was the architect of your problem, he's been in detention now. They've kidnapped him for 93, 94 days now. How much has changed in your life? Then they brought this con artist. That one came out again because he has his own base he appealed to as well. They call his name Sulaiman, Pastor Sulaiman. You know, in Nigeria, if you are a pastor, you can be a criminal. All you need to do is to tell Nigerians that you've confessed your sin. You've accepted Jesus as your Lord and Savior. You've met one God somewhere that no one knows about. Then tell them about what that God told you to do for humanity and so on and so forth. And forget it. There you go. You can do no wrong. And you can never, ever, ever be wrong. And that is where this con artist came from. And there are many in Nigeria. And they have their own appeal base too. They have their own fan base too, where do not touch my anointed. Do my anointed no harm. Do not say any evil thing about the pastor. Fuck your pastors. I'll say that to them every now and then. He's a fucking con artist. And just like many people like him, he came to tap into the into the problem, probably to make himself look better because he has his own appealing base. You know, the base where he give 100,000 naira to, 500,000 naira to, 1 million naira to. The people that always look forward to the giveaway from this con artist here and there in Nigeria. Yes, I'll say it to his face. I'll say it to all of your faces. That's the real. But not many of us believe in those con men, con artists you call your pastors and you call your whatever you call them. And Omoyele Sowore came from a background of the same set of Nigerians who will never, ever see what is wrong and pretend it is right simply because of the characters involved. Yes, we'll say it to your face if you are doing what is wrong. We'll say it to your fucking face. Take it to the bank or take it to your God. Just like when he told them in Kaduna that, he gave the dear devil, the small devil of Kaduna, El Rufai. The same con man told you that he was going to give El Rufai just a week. It's either he confessed his sin, apologized, or he was going to die. It was one of those, popular, trended topic at the time. This same con artist now came up and said, I'll stand shorty for Sowore, although he hurt me. He hurt me, so I've forgiven him. I'll stand short. Fuck you with all your fraudulent cash and all this nonsense you are all doing in Nigeria that you are actually glorifying. Not many of us are really trained. And let me be honest with you, right? Let me be frank with you. We know the con artists when we see them. And they always very much thank God for their suckers. Thank God for those idiots who look up to them, who believe them and believe all the nonsense they are professing, all the jargons they are actually, they're professing every year for you there in that country. Not all of us are actually trailed. And for someone like that, when we see a con artist from far, we do know. And because we have treaded this path before, let me take you through a memory lane. When they arrested, should I use the word arrested or kidnapped Nnamdi Kanu as well? He was kidnapped in his own hotel room in Lagos as well. In Nigeria as well, yeah? They kidnapped him, denied that they had him. Then they later agreed that they had him. Then they later sued him for trying to, for treason, sued him for trying to disintegrate Nigeria. Then started the whole court drama. started the whole court drama that lasted for a whole year, only for them to bring one RNG level political criminals, bringing one RNG level to say, oh, we are standing shorty for Nnamdi Kanu. Oh, we are doing this for Nnamdi Kanu. And then when Nnamdi Kanu got released, what did he tell them? He said, nobody stood any shorty for him because he committed no crime. You can do all your abracadabra through all your corrupt court system, through all your corrupt security agency system, through all your corrupt entire system, and put all of that together and pretend that you are giving me a bail. Fuck your bail because I committed no crime. And that's why when they beat up Ekweremadu in Germany, do you know what Nnamdi Kanu said? Nnamdi Kanu said, you should keep your bail and your surety to your fucking selves because I committed no crime. It is only a criminal that you stand surety for. Asking for a freedom, asking for a revolution, asking for a referendum are not criminal offense in any sinner crime all over the world. The languages used, the words used, and so on and so forth are not criminal in any part of the world until a crime is committed. Omoyele Sowore called for revolution. The revolution he called for on the 5th of August 2019, he was yet to participate in that revolution before he was kidnapped. He committed no offense. He committed no crime. That's one fake con artist and then one other wannabe book writer, a former aide to a former government called Reno Omokri, because they wanted to tap into the situation, trended somehow, sound good, sound intelligent, because they have their own appeal base too. They have their own audience too. They have their own idiots who can't actually see through all the shenanigans, all the fuckery, all the lies, all the pretenses, and all the misrepresentations that these guys represent. They represent everything that is fraud. And if you can look deeper, you will never associate yourselves with them. And I'm so happy that Sowore's legal team turned up to say, keep your whatever to yourself. We are okay. We won't need it. Then they suddenly changed the story. It is because Sulaiman is not living in Abuja. Keep consoling yourself. We don't need you con men. Take it to the bank. Take it anywhere. Mock us. Abuse Sowore. Some even said, yeah, Sowore, at least Sowore is in Nigeria fighting. What about others who are just on social media doing this or that? You are just a balloning. Many of you are just balloonists, right? And what do I mean by that? Omoyele Sowore, when he started his journey, do you know where he appealed to first? He appealed to his community. And where is that his community? Social media is his community. You get to know about Sahara reporters because you are very active on social media. This is Omoyele Sowore's community. This is where he's speaking for the voiceless, the most massive number of Nigerians in one accord. Social media. This is where his audience are. This is where Sowore represents. This is the constituency that Sowore represents. And we have always been there for him as well, right? He came back home and he called many of you who are actually like residing in Nigeria. Many of you are victims of this abnormality. Many of you are victims of all these atrocities, all these government shenanigans and government abuses. He called on you, you didn't come out. The same community, social media community, Nigerians living in diaspora came together, put resources together, sponsored the promotion of his message, driving through his message for him, representing and spreading that same message for him because we believed in him. We didn't just say or talk about him, we invested in that same dream. And that is why today, the same constituency that is very much consistent up to this hour is the same social media constituency of Omoyele Sowore. If not for social media, if we were to rely on your conventional, your corrupt, archaic, media outlet, your TV stations, your radio, they don't even tell them about what is going on in Nigeria to them. In Nigeria, how shocking is that? Nigerians who have little access to social media have been able to catch up, to catch up with all the up-to-date information about what is going on in their country. Turn on their TV, you will be reading and listening to all the jargons being done by those, God knows, uneducative programs that add no value to their existence every day. These are things being dished out to them. Thank God for social media, the never relentless, ever up-to-date platform that gives us the truth of what is going on in the country. But they are saying, why are you ranting on social media? Why don't you come down and get locked up? Why don't you come down and get brutalized? Why don't you come down and get killed so that we can know you are fighting for us? How stupid can they be? Because they are not interested in fighting for anything. If you stand up and call off for revolution, they know that a revolution will consume not just APC, it will consume PDP, it will consume all those criminals that many of them worship today as their leaders here and there. They know. And that is why they'll tell you, oh, he's calling for revolution. Oh, he sent their Goodluck Jonathan away. They saw losers, ignorant illiterates, who are just jumping up and down, ignorantly, but deliberately. It is a selective stupidity, if I have to put it rightly. Selective stupidity. Because the same set of people who accuse Omoyele Sowore of criticizing Jonathan's government and bringing Buhari to power are the same set of people that will tell you to your face that Atiku means well. And in fact, they are now telling us that Atiku is the person that will save them in 2023. How pathetic, how disgusting can someone's life and their ambition be? And they want all of us to be like that. And they say if you don't want that, if you are not going to let PDP pursue APC away for you, then Buhari should continue. Fuck it, let him continue. That's it. It is probably better for him to continue. For those of us who have stood by, through the thick and thin, from the beginning of this whole journey, we stood our ground and we said we will never look back, and we haven't looked back since then. But for those who are suddenly running, who are now having a stomach upset, those who are now having migraine, who are now having a sleepless night because of Omoyele Sowore, the same set of people who told us then that, they would rather die with Atiku, Saraki, and those people they call their leaders. And you dare not say anything against them. And they will burn you or they will eat you raw because you are actually like more or less, encouraging Buhari to continue. Sowore is encouraging Buhari to continue according to them. And they want us to accept that. Good afternoon. Welcome to my Eagles Diary.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Mazi Chukwukachizo. I'm calling from Turkey.
Please, Mazi, you have about 2 minutes, my brother. How is Turkey?
Very fine, very fine. So I want to chip in to what you just said.
Go ahead. Man.
And the last point you just made just hit me very well. Nigerians, if we are expecting Atiku to change the system, we are just being dishonest.
They hate Sowore. You know the irony of it, Mazi, they hate Sowore, but they love Atiku. They hate Sowore, but they love Saraki. They hate, and these were the same set of people who actually spent
politics of bitterness.
Exactly. These are the same set of people who spent billions to send Jonathan away from power, and they know it. But Sowore is the problem.
Brother, ask them this question. From the time you started making your first money to help people, has there been a single time someone called you from Nigeria and said things are good?
Never.
But
never.
They are trying to make it look as if Sowore stop Nigerians from getting to their promised land. My brother, the Jonathan, the administration, the Jonathan administration squandered what should have been our shock absorber at this point of credit crunch.
They will stone you if you say that to them. Just tell them that Sowore is the one that sent Jonathan away. Then you have their friend. No, Jonathan didn't squander money. In fact,
the question you asked them.
Exactly.
This question. Jonathan, was he that good that he couldn't even give his people drinking water?
For 5 years, he was the president.
In his place, they had to build the road when the father died. Let them understand this, that it was only in Jonathan's administration that they were transferring money from CBN directly to individual accounts.
Bank accounts. God bless you. Go ahead.
It wasn't. My father wasn't in charge of Nigeria when the Siani and co were stealing billions. Imagine if we had that billions. We could easily influence the European market. We'll tell them we have this cash, we'll do this, okay, we will invest in your own country. But in exchange for technology, in exchange for this and that, they can never go there, they can never ask that question. Guess what? They have devalued our money and they will keep devaluing it as long as natural resources are still flowing from Nigeria. It gives them cheap and easy access to our resources. But our people don't know this. When you talk, they say you've collected money, you've done this, you've done that. Let us leave this politics of bitterness, this politics of emotions, and tell ourselves the truth. It's not working. The ruling class don't care about anyone. Okay, look at Kogi State. The governor went and bought Rolls Royce for the attack of Ghana, and there was no road to his palace, to where he rode that Rolls Royce from.
They will roast you.
The problem of the ruling class and is different from the problem of the expendable class, which
you
is
are
what
right.
they consider you and I. Do you think if he knows that road is more important than Rolls Royce, wouldn't he have built it? He would have built it.
He never say that way. No.
It's the ruling monarchs, is the monarchies, is the pastors, is the captains of industries. I mean, the ones that got there with corrupt means. Let us not forget what they are doing. They are instituting a fascist type of government in Nigeria, but we don't know it. Thank you for giving me the time.
God bless you, Mazi. Thank you so much for your contribution as well. My regards to our people in Turkey there. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Sowore is an enemy. Sowore must die in prison because he sent Jonathan away. But Saraki must rule you. Atiku must lead. Kwakwanso must be your president. Do you think we are all like that? Do you think we all actually think like that? Right? I have another caller. This time around, I think that's a Goodness from Lagos. Is that Goodness? Hello.
Hello.
Hello, you are through to my Egun's Diary. Now, your name and where you are calling from?
My name is Goodness. I'm calling from Lagos, Nigeria.
How are you today, Goodness? You have the floor.
I'm very fine, and you?
Very well, thank you, man.
It's so ridiculous to see the DSS bringing a projector screen to the courts today.
They want to show video.
It clearly shows that they have nothing. The only video they wanted to show was a video of Sowore with Idris Abdulkarim. This is the same DSS that said that Sowore has a UBA account for Zenith, if I can recall.
And now they said it's into money laundering.
Some support from international agencies, like that.
That he collected. You see, let me give a recap on that quickly. Goodness, from the charges they brought in October, right? They said Omoyele Sowore was plotting to overthrow Buhari through his revolution now. #revolution now. They said Omoyele Sowore met with a fugitive. They were referring to Nnamdi Kanu as fugitive now. They said he met with a fugitive in New York, where they agreed to stage a revolution in Nigeria to overthrow Buhari. Number 3, that Omoyele Sowore was operating a foreign account, which is a foreign bank account, and he transferred money from Sahara Reporters to his own personal account. Then also he transferred money from his personal account into Sahara Reporters account, and he didn't notify his bank that he was transferring the money. So therefore he committed a money laundering act. He committed a crime against money laundering. So now they want to mask the witnesses. They want the witnesses to wear masks to testify against Sowore in court. That's what they want to do now.
It clearly shows that they've lost the battle already. Yeah, one thing I am very I'm confident of, that at the end of it all, Sowore will be free. But it's not about his freedom that is more of my concern now. But my concern is, when will Nigeria be truly free? That's the question I've been asking myself this morning. Yes, he has met his bid conditions. Of course, I don't see that as freedom to me, because if he's still restricted within the 4 walls of Abuja, and he won't be able to travel, until his trials are, completed. That still shows that Nigeria truly needs to be free. But just as the last caller said, until Nigerians get to understand the responsibility of challenging the government to do what is right, we'll continue to go the way we are going. And for Osinbajo, who's 35.
I was coming to that one now. Maybe you should knock it off with me. Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Okay. One thing I just want to say on that is, next level I just started, they will experience more of it.
I tell you.
By the time people their brain reset, they will know that there's nothing good that Buhari government has to offer Nigerians. Thank you very much. God bless my
goodness. Nice one. Have a good one, eh?
All right.
So let me quickly talk about this Osinbajo issue. Osinbajo is going to be a sacrificial lamb. They say those who ride kutukpa on the back of a tiger should not rejoice for too long, because they will end up in its belly when it's done. Right? That is exactly what is about to happen to Osinbajo. And Tinubu will sacrifice him. For now, what they've managed to do is that Osinbajo is never going to be under any consideration for any 2023 presidential election whatsoever. Like, forget it. It's been completely. I've got Olori Abi. Olori Abi, is that you? Hello there.
Good morning, my brother. It's Olori Abi from the United States.
Olori Abi, I'll let you quickly come because I saw your call coming through there, and I was going through something about Osinbajo. But you can come through now, then I'll continue after you. You have the floor.
Okay, sir. My comment is about Sowore's bill and what is going on with DSS. You see, those DSS, something, they are a joke. And Nigeria is a banana republic. You are prosecuting somebody because of Facebook video. That's not an evidence.
I didn't know that Facebook video can overthrow presidents.
They want to get us to come and testify against that person. Who does that? Who does this civilized world? Who does that? Why hide your witnesses under mat? If truly you have a case, tell me you don't have a case. It's propaganda. If you truly have a case, you don't put your witnesses under mat. You bring the witness face to face with the defendant.
At least.
And let them say. You see that country, we don't like the truth. I'm telling you the truth. We don't like the truth. If we truly like the truth and we like ourselves, we will rise up and tell them enough. Look at what is going on in Lebanon. People are rising up and they are saying no. Yesterday in America, we voted and we let Republicans know that enough of Donald Trump. All the states that they vote, only few states went red. Places they don't expect people to vote Donald Trump candidates out. They voted them out because people don't like lies here. When they see lies, they will tell you it's a lie. But Nigerians, especially our people back home, when you go and ask them, what do you think about Sowore? They say, I don't like the man. It's a troublemaker.
He's a troublemaker.
Sowore doesn't have a better life here in America with his family. Sowore, because of them, did not take American citizenship. He came to Nigeria to come and fight for them because they want a better life. It is our people at home that their children cannot afford 3 square meals. Children cannot go to good school. I'm just asking myself, in the next 15, 20 years, what will become of those children that are not in school now? What will become of them? In this computer age, some children, they don't even know what is a computer. Ask them a simple question. They don't even know what answer they will give you. Go and look for a graduate. Ask them, what is this? They don't know what they are talking about. Ask them to operate a computer. They will tell you, oh, I don't know. Please, I don't. In this civilized age, and we are asking we are calling Sowore a traitor. In fact, we have a problem in that country. We have a problem in that country. We will see the truth like this. We don't follow the truth. It's the lie. We like darkness much than light. That's why we don't have a stable life, because we are full of darkness in that country. Until we change our orientation, until we change our ways to the way of truth, and stand for the truth, no matter what, we can darkness in that country. See, they will release Sowore whether they like it or not. We will not keep quiet until they release Sowore. Manage another political discipline. Because if we keep quiet, democracy will die in darkness. It will die in darkness. If you think you are safe in Nigeria, I don't want to do anything with Sowore. I don't want to do something for him.
He is our best bet. He is our best bet. And if no one is seeing him as a rallying point, right? If no one is seeing him as a rallying point, well, that's your own cup of tea.
I want a working Nigeria for myself and my children. Even though I'm not in Nigeria, but I want to come to Nigeria and feel safe. I want to come to Nigeria and invest and employ people. But if there's no security for me, how do you expect me to come? And somebody, you see this morning, there's a report that came out that the United States is warning their citizens not to go to Nigeria because there's a lot of people unrest and kidnapping. Is that a good report? We should be ashamed of ourselves. We should be ashamed of ourselves. We should be ashamed of ourselves. Somebody is standing up for us and we are still crucifying him. Even if Jesus comes to Nigeria to come and help them, they will find fault in him.
They will blame him. They will blame him. So there will be Nigerians that will tell you that this Jesus zone is too much. Must everybody do something like before we will do it before?
They will find fault in Jesus zone.
They will abuse him. They will abuse him.
They will they say no, we don't want him.
We don't want this, so exactly.
Like this. You do like this as if they are saints themselves. Somebody is coming to come and help you to stand up for the truth. Yes, you are doing like Mumu. Look at the easy. They are standing up against their leader because they don't want those bad policies. But we are so comfortable with that hell. We are so comfortable with that shit hole. We are so comfortable with bad policies, with bad roads. Even if you go to common hospital, you cannot get good medication.
And they know. Olori Abi. Yeah, let me tell you this. There is nothing we say. That they don't know. They feel it every day. You want to talk about bad road, poor electricity, bad government policies, corruption, police brutality, extortion, faking product and so on. They know all of this. But if you talk...
It's not a country. Last week, President Obama was tweeting that people should go and enroll in Medicare for the new year. A president, ex-president, Nigeria, do you even have good hospitals to go to? Not to talk of enrolling in insurance. Enrolling in insurance. People that they don't have paper yet, they have health insurance in case something happens to them. What are we thinking? This is not the Nigeria I would know when Azikiwe want. This is not the Nigeria. What is wrong with us? Those are patriots. They stood their ground and we got our independence. This is not the Nigeria they dreamed of. And what is wrong with us? We have to wake up and take this shackle off our neck if we want to survive. What will become of our children in the next 10, 15 years? No job, there are no good roads, there are no good education systems. All the system is corrupt and they are collapsing right in our heights like this, and everybody is silent. My mother came to America. She asked me the first time she came, how are we going to make this now? See road, light, food. People are wasting food. You can go. I took my mom to the hospital for checkup because she's not a resident here. I paid only $20 and they did all medical tests for her. And that $20 is valid for 1 year. They were even begging her to come back for some tests free. They will give us money for gas. Is that what they country?
In Nigeria, it's a luxury. And when you talk about it, they will tell you to come back home and give it to them in Nigeria. They want you to come back home, Olori Abi.
These are the things that Sowore is telling them.
And Sowore that is in Nigeria with them, Sowore left all of that in America with you there. And he went to Nigeria. Look at what they are doing to him. But they want you to come back too.
I can't do it for now. What Sowore did? I will live where I'm getting money to eat. Money to feed my family at home. And go there to go and find for something that will lock me up. I can't do it though. Sowore, honestly, is a very courageous man. And not those people could find him. Come back in the next few years to thank Sowore. I'm telling you. It takes the heart of Pelayo to stand in the face of criticism like this. Sowore is being locked up. You are celebrating. Man, there's a young man that is just starting to decide. He's been locked up.
He's just 21. The boy is just 21 years old. They don't care.
We are all Sowore. Man, they should be in school. They locked him up. Some people that locked him up, are they not victims? They are victims of the bad policies. Don't we even have brains?
Their salaries, they are being paid worst salaries in the world. They are being paid. Even their pensions are not being paid, and we know what always comes to as their end as a government workers themselves. They always come here and say, "Mayegun, help me write it. They've not paid our pension. I'll read the message. I'll just pass. There's nothing I can do for you. If they don't pay your pension, you know where to go to, and so on. Go ahead, Olori Abi.
You see those people that they are owing pension, their own is better. You see those jobless, lazy youth that they don't have jobs, they don't have plan for themselves. In the next 20 years, you will see a lot of fine bara on this street.
No, they are already there. See,
no place where money will come from.
Olori Abi.
You will see a lot of fine bara.
Olori Abi, there is something they do on Facebook now or Twitter. It's called giveaway. So if they know you have small followers, they will say, bros, do giveaway now. Giveaway is an executive begging. So that I can come here and say, oh, I'm giving 10 people 200,000 naira. You will see me. I will be the most popular person on Facebook. Like, you will love it. Do giveaway. Do giveaway. They say, bros, do giveaway now.
Go and work. There's job everywhere. There's no giveaway in abroad. Go and work with your money and hand your money.
That's
right.
Why
everybody is spending here. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid, you become homeless.
You deal with it.
It's corrupt. It's corrupt. Begging has. If they are begging from somebody and they give us, they cannot give and they become a beggar too. Is that a life?
I used to do that. Olori Abi, let me tell you something. I'll tell you this before you go because I actually love having a chat with you on this platform once in a while like this, right? You see, when I first started the Mayegun's Diary, I was so passionate about Nigeria. Like, I don't know why, people ask you for, I know all of you are also experiencing this as well, right? Where people will be asking you for help, support, because they are your friends, random friends, you don't know them. They are just friends on Facebook. So when I started Mayegun's Diary, I decided to bring so many people in. Like, Olori Abi, I'm going to raise 200,000 naira for indigent students. All the students who are unable to pay their school fees. So I was raising money, Olori Abi. I was raising money. I was sharing money on my platform. I started it on all social media platform in Nigeria. I started it. Started with giving a recharge card. I think I started in 2013, 2014. So I'll give recharge card. I'll give money. Then I will tell my friends to contribute money. People were sending money to me, Olori Abi, because we wanted to help Nigerian young people. 2015 election, 2019 election gave me a serious understanding of the mindset of Nigerians. The same people who were paying their school fees told me that you can't sit in Glasgow and tell us what to do. Why don't you come back home? I swear to God, that's why I stopped it. So many people are sending me messages in my inbox. I stopped it. I completely stopped it. And I won't do it. I won't anymore.
You see the problem in Nigeria? Those, especially the young millennials, they think they are entitled to everything. They don't want to work. If you are you have opportunity to bail out, then you become their ATM. If you don't get it, they say
look at this one. Now you sit down for America. They tell us what to do. Why don't you come down here and let us do it together? They told me to my face. I'm talking about. If I open I have this thing. I have this guy that always do the transfer for us. Then there's this my brother. He's in Manchester. So every time I'll be like, I'll ask questions. People will answer. Then I'll select names. Then after that, I'll forward the names to this guy. He will do all the transfers. 25,000, 25,000, 25,000, 25,000, maybe to 20 people, right? Then after that, they will send me the screenshot. I have this file on my phone loaded with all the transfers I've sent to Nigeria to random people I've never met in my life.
Can you imagine?
But today, I am exactly. People don't know nothing. Yeah, there are so many people who don't know anything about Mayegun. Not really.
All those people, Mayegun, that you are giving money. If they are somebody that is very deep, all the money you are giving them, why can't they keep the money and start doing business? Like
business.
But they are too big to do that.
Do you think I was the only one they are taking the money from? Olori Abi, do you think I was the only one they are taking the money from? There are so many people.
Take from from
We
here.
are their MAGA. If you think deep, you will know that social media is so big, is so wide. There are some people actually making a living through begging on social media, and you will never believe it.
Oh my
They
God.
are on social
They should
media.
be ashamed of themselves. They should be ashamed of themselves. And yet, those people that are telling them the truth, how to fix their country, they are criticizing them. They are hurting them. Those people should go their height and be ashamed of themselves. They should go and better their life.
They don't have shame.
If it is cleaning poop, go and find something to do. If it is to be doing alaru, go and find something to do. People here, they are not, and they kill people. People here, they are sick. They beg for their kids, for their students when they are sick. They do also. I don't know why we are so poor.
Oh no, Leabi.
To make good living, to make decent living. They should be ashamed of themselves.
It is well.
I'm giving them. Anybody
No,
I've
stopped anyway. I've stopped a long time ago.
They should go for hell.
Thank you, Oloriabi. Let's hear from others too. It's a pleasure hearing from you today. Thank you very much, my dear sister, man. Take care. Oloriabi. If you have Oloriabi as a fan, and you know that there are fans of Mayegun's Diary that are so passionate, responsible people. Do you know why I can come here anytime and feel so confident? Is because I am not being watched by charlatans. I'm not being watched by clout chasers. I am not being watched by attention seekers. I am being watched, being viewed all over the world by responsible Nigerians who actually saw the content, the value in the content of Mayegun's Diary, and they don't care. They spend the hour here. Good afternoon and welcome to Mayegun's Diary. Your name and where you are calling from, sir.
Good afternoon, Mary. I'm Maxoni. I'm calling from Nigeria. Just came to Nigeria.
Anthony, you are in Nigeria. Where are you in Nigeria now?
I'm in Asaba.
Asaba. Wow. So you managed to pass through. Did you fly to Asaba or you drove through, what do they call it, Benin Asaba Road? Did you travel through that road, that collapsed road?
I drove through, but it was war.
Oh dear. So what do you have for me, Anthony? Tell me.
Well, I'm a good Diary. In fact, let's say the truth about what is really happening. You see, we are just talking about the politicians and this. For me, I would say they use religious to make the youth in Nigeria very weak. How? How many followers do Buhari have compared to Oyendipo, Adeboye, Suleiman, and the rest? Okay. Buhari went to Issa, if you can remember, for campaign.
Okay.
Then after Sowore left, Issa threw his vote for Atiku. And was that the GO say, do this, that is how the followers go for. Suleiman support Sowore when Sowore published the problem of Otobo and the rest.
Otobo, yes, Stephanie Otobo.
Automatically, he said they should vote for thief and leave the one that will kill you.
You remember, they say vote for, so they say there is a killer and there is a thief. Even, I think, did Oyedepo not say that as well, that we should vote for a thief and then avoid the killer? Continue, my brother.
Killer.
Yeah.
So if you look, these people, if you can remember again, when he went to Ekiti and DSS wanted to pick him, he made a statement that if they try, that they spend 1 hour a year, that what will happen to Nigeria in 100 years, they cannot be able to
I know, I remember too.
If you can remember.
I remember.
That's to tell you the power they have. So if one man of God can tell you what will happen in Nigeria, they can't fix it in 100 years. Now tell me how many of them we have in Nigeria, which will tell the youth what to do. Are you telling me that if Oyendipo, Odeboye, and all of them said, I want these people to vote for Sowore, you think the youth will not do it? People are just saying Buhari and these people are this. You think Buhari goes to those villages to go and campaign? They throw Ghana must go to Imam. Imam tell them who to vote for. Same thing happened to the Christian. They throw Ghana must go to them. And they tell them who to vote for. What the TV Joshua said, you people are all my children, so you belong to different party. That means go and vote. Because if Sowore comes to power, you seize the food, their tithe and offering that they are eating. So how do you expect them to put Sowore in power?
Sense will not kill you, my brother.
So if you go back again during Jonathan regime, when Bakari led the protest, don't you see how they blocked Lagos during 2012 January? They blocked Lagos State because of why? Pastor led the protest. So when people are saying politics this, no, they are using religion as a trick to bring the youth down. Now when they go to church, they pray for miracle and this, and they believe on that the Jew. When you are in the diaspora now, check the people in diaspora that don't believe in your struggle. Know that those are the people that still believe on that are the Jew. The ones that don't believe on that the Jew are you and me, who don't believe in religions, whose eyes are open to know that these pastors are the cause of the problem we are having in Nigeria. The time of Babangida, when they say Babangida must go, did Babangida not run? Because why? There were no churches then. There were few churches then. So the problem we are supposed to be nailing is starting from the church. Just like your other program, I heard you when I watched you, because since I came to Nigeria, I'll be having this powerful and all. I normally watch your program after broadcast. So make one statement that the way we grow up in this kind of fear that what your parents impart in you is what is in you. So this everybody in Nigeria now belongs to one religion, either you're a Muslim or you're a Christian. And these are the people they are using to make our spirit down and weak. It is not the politicians. The politicians only spend money when they want to campaign and when they want to do election.
League election and the rest of that.
The money they spend goes to the religious, because they know that all the pastors belong to APC or PDP. Because they benefit from it. So we are just here saying politician Buhari. If Buhari too much, is Osinbajo not a Christian? What is he doing? When they called someone said in Abuja, a woman that was preaching, did he say anything?
He didn't.
So if you know,
even with all the abuses of rule of law, abuses of court process, human rights abuses under Buhari, Osinbajo is just deaf, dumb, and blind. Is that deliberate?
Osinbajo was at this article. Adeboye was at the side of Buhari. So what are we now saying? And we have about 60% of Nigerians that are Christian and 40% from the Muslim. Which imam say do this, they do. You think Buhari will go to Douala and all those places to go and campaign? He don't do that. He just said Ghana must go to imam. And imam said the Democrats what to do. They do. Just the same way they use our so-called religious master. That's how they do. So the religious master will tell you, don't worry, pray for this nation, pray for your leader, and God will come and fight. It is a bullshit story. Why are they buying private jets? They buy those private jets because those politicians use it to
smuggle money laundering. Exactly.
So they don't want, because let me tell you the truth, if Oyendipo Adeboye, they stood up and start talking about this government or that they should start voting for APC and PDP, believe me, they will investigate the source of their income. But they will not do it because why? Oga, play your own, let me play my own. No, don't come to my way. I won't come to your way. When it comes to the
even
election,
politicians, you know one thing is this. Even politicians dare not touch them. Because as you are talking about religion now, there are some people watching. They are already getting angry. What's your business with religion? Why do you have to talk about religion? Is religion the problem? Are the pastors your problem? Because it is a sensitive thing. And like you said, people like us who don't believe in any religion or any kind of doctrination and what have you are those who can think outside that and feel like, listen, they are using that your religion because you believe so much in it to keep manipulating and perpetuating all the activities.
The youth. You see, our youth are lazy. It's not because of they are just lazy. It's religion that has brought the youth down. When a pastor tell you your mother or your relative is because of your problem, you are supposed to be a big man and do this. What do you for? You go for solution.
Exactly.
You don't think about the leaders. If a pastor tell you that the problem of your problem is the politician that's supposed to fix road and do this for you, you will see the youth angry.
So so I think I get you there. That's a very key point in your presentation this afternoon. Let me be honest, right? You said if people go to pastors, they go to their religious leaders for solution to their problem. And when they get there, they always tell them about who is doing them. It's either your mother, your father, your uncle, your boss, or someone in your neighborhood is the one holding your glory. So then the people who ask for solution, they will say, go and pray. So you mean if pastors in Nigeria start telling their congregations that politicians are the problem, the reason why you don't have a job is because of that politician.
Benefiting from your government. This is what you're supposed to be. It is your right to hold this. My brother, let me tell you, this country will come outside. There will be a massive revolution. But when you go there, pastor tell you go and sow seed that God bless you.
God will bless you and that.
For so time. How do you expect that kind of person to go and fight the government?
Who is expecting a miracle from God? He just sowed a seed. And you want him to go and fight politicians for you. He won't do it because he's expecting something from God.
So they use religion. So you people should stop saying the youth are weak. The youth are not weak. My brother, see, person when the people say they're hungry, like they find food they work for anywhere. So once they are hungry, everybody in Nigeria is looking for a solution. So they feel that going to church is the way to give them solution. When you go to church and the pastor, instead of boosting your morale, and he's killing your Quran, telling you now is one wish or one this thing, forgetting that the government is wicked. The government is not doing, it's supposed to do road, give you constant electricity, give you a good healthcare and everything. Then tell me, what will you do? You go inside your house and pray. And
you go and pray.
When the pastor is eating, benefiting from the so-called politicians, say, don't worry, I don't tell them
now. That's deeper, my brother. That's a deep one. That's a deep one.
So it's time for us to stop. Let people to stop this their miracle they are doing in the church, because the church are the one killing the youth. Nigerian youth are lazy today, not because of the politician. It is because of the church. When the pastor tell you tomorrow God will bless you with 1 million, for where you want to pay. So you think that when a politician comes to give you miracle, that is comes to give you money, that is the miracle the pastor done for you. That day, that one thing is coming for you, 1 million is coming, and a politician come and tell you that do this for me. You will feel that what the pastor told you is this thing coming to pass, so you will do it. Even if the genuine one that don't want to do, you lure them in to do. So this thing about Nigeria is this. They have looked into the youth that this thing that can kill Nigeria is religious. And that is why you see.
So could that be the reason why, my brother, could that be the reason why on social media these days, the youth are always like, brother, bros, please bless me now. Bros, bless me now. Could that be coming from their different night vigils they've attended? The vigils they've attended, where they've told them that you will receive a strange blessing from a stranger, and they keep reminding the strangers to bless them. Could that be the reason?
When the pastor tells you that you will receive a lot. So if I beg you, my good Dari, please help me.
Thank you so much, my brother. Have a good afternoon, eh? You just you made my afternoon. Thank you. Enjoy Asaba for now at least, eh? Nice one, Baba.
Thank you.
Oh dear, that's a deep one, by the way. There's something about my Eagles Diary that I keep telling people, right? I don't know much, but the little I know, I'll bring it onto my Eagles Diary. Then I will listen to many of you who know better, by the way. And I will listen and I'll be like, oh, that's deep. I never thought about that. I've never really thought about that. That, if they tell you that you will receive a miracle, my brother, please hang on there for a minute. Let me just finish this. If they tell me from church, since I came to Scotland, since I came here, sorry, hang on for a minute, please. I'll let you know when you can start, please. Okay? Thank you, sir. So, since I came to UK, right? Since I came here, I have never been to the church and say, I need to go and see my pastor. I need this prayer. And there was no point for it, right? If I need any prayer, I'll do it myself. I'm so terrible in prayer and all that anyway. But yet, I've not had any reason to think there's someone in my neighborhood who is probably after my glory, after my destiny, or the reason why I have not got my papers, or the reason why I have not got this, or the reason why I have not really bought a car, and so on and so forth. There's no reason for it. I kept working and changing my life, getting it better and on and on and on. Because I had no pastor to tell me to expect an alert that I didn't work for. Good afternoon, my brother. Welcome to my Eagles Diary. Your name and where you are calling from?
My brother, my good general.
This is a controversial
Controversial Bishop. I want me you talk up yourself. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, my brother. How are you?
I'm doing so well. How are you, sir?
My brother, the last caller have said it all. I think one of the problems we are facing in this country is because our people have not really embraced internet. The recent fake miracles in 5 different churches that happened, I think, last 2 weeks or 3 weeks back. If I tell you that 95% of Nigerians, all these people that you see in those churches, they did not see all those information. You are wise because you are living in diaspora. You are wise because you embrace the internet. You are wise, you know what is going on because you are no longer in their shoes. These people don't know what we are talking about. That is why these pastors will keep deceiving them and deceiving them and deceiving them.
But Bishop,
my brother,
Bishop, if we keep saying that some of them don't have access to some of this information, right? We can say that before the advent of social media or before the spread of social media to what it is today, right? But do you know that those who manage to be on that social media as it is today, they on record, right? They say we have at least 25 million Nigerians who have access to different social media right now, right? Social media. Now, for those people who have access to that social media, they are not even tapping from the real information that helps them. Rather, they are actually exploiting that social media to see what they can gain for themselves. Immediate gain, like gratification. So, can we just blame lack of information on everything per se when we know some of them have access to this information, but they don't make use of it?
My brother, I think you understand everything I want to say. You just summarize what I wanted to tell you. Because this thing, what you just said now is exactly what I wanted to tell you. You understand? For example, now, when this your program now, how many people are watching from Nigeria? How many people are watching from Nigeria? How many people can watch? They are saving their data. And most probably, you know the rate of poverty in the country. They are saving their data. And you know that what we are seeing here, as I'm talking to you now, we are using free internet here abroad here. You know what I mean? Yeah, we are better off. Here in Nigeria, MTN run generator
to supply data for them as well. Anyway.
And you cannot blame some of these people at times. It is bad government at times that causes all these things. You understand? You cannot blame most of these people. You understand?
But they are enablers too, Bishop. Bishop.
Now, the best thing we do now is to make internet spread. Preach internet to the whole family, the whole generation, upcoming generation in Nigeria. Let them invest internet so that they will see what is happening in the entire country.
Hopefully.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Bishop.
I keep preaching. Let me summarize with this. I keep telling Nigerians, any church you enter, any church, any religious group you enter, any ministry you enter, and they don't preach about salvation and heaven, and all they preach is money, and giving and prosperity. My brother, run away from there. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bishop. It's good to hear from you again today. How is London today?
You're welcome. Fine, my brother. You can see how the weather is.
It is getting there now. It's like it's bombing up now that you have to keep doubling up. Thank you. Have a good one, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Good night.
Cheers, brother. Yeah. That's a controversial bishop from London. Osinbajo demoted because of bodilon politics. Tinubu is desperate for 2023. And in fact, with the way things are going, they are very much so desperate to sacrifice just anyone. Osinbajo is the creator of his own problem, and he will be the reaper of his own problem too. He created all the false all this false El Dorado. He painted a picture of an El Dorado and a Nigeria El Dorado for so many Nigerians until he was destroyed, or probably until he destroyed himself through his own greed, insatiable greed, lust for money, greed that came over Osinbajo, a fake pastor, a fake pastor that has managed to also reach the pedestal of his own career, the political career of manipulation, of looting, of stealing, of greed, of selfishness. The same political, the same political school that Osinbajo represented. And we will tell you, wherever come his way, I'm a Yoruba man. I am not affected. So is every Yoruba man that is not from the same feeding bottle that they give to them from Bodilon. And I'll tell you how. Osinbajo is the star boy, the one they felt when they wanted to cook up the propaganda that brought Buhari to power. Osinbajo was the star boy that they believed that was going to be a Goodluck Jonathan, the way Goodluck Jonathan was to Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. So a preparation that Obasanjo put together. Let me tell you this story. It may not go down well with many of you, but it is actually the truth. The truth that many may have forgotten. And I'll tell you, I'll start from Yar'Adua. When Obasanjo asked for third term in 2005, when Obasanjo demanded for third term in office, and he couldn't get it. So he came back. Meanwhile, before then, there were potential presidential candidates in his camp. There were those who were calling him their leader. They were calling him the leader of the country, the father of them all. They thought they were in his good book. They could succeed him as the president of Nigeria. That is Olusegun Obasanjo in 2007. Among them were Peter Odili. Among them were Okonjo Iweala. Among them were El Rufai at the time, the what do you call it? The mad cow in their midst, who happens to be the one that eventually sold all of them off anyway. So there were other capable hands that I can't really remember right now. At the time, under Olusegun Obasanjo, that could succeed him. They were doing so wonderfully well under him, but he didn't pick them because he was so angry that he couldn't get his third term. Then he decided to go and pick Umaru Yar'Adua. Umaru Yar'Adua was a second-term governor of Katsina State under PDP. Umaru Yar'Adua became governor of Katsina State in 1999, just the same way Obasanjo became president of Nigeria in 1999. When Obasanjo couldn't have his way in 2005-2006 third-term agenda, he picked Umaru, who was already on a terminal. He's already got a terminal. He had a terminal illness that was going to kill him anyway, cancer, that he got a wind of just before the end of his second term. And he was planning to retire, go back into the classroom and start teaching before his eventual expected death. Obasanjo dragged him out when he got the intel of what Yar'Adua was suffering from, a cancer of the blood. Cancer of the blood that would eventually kill Yar'Adua probably a year between 2007 to 2009. Yar'Adua was expected, in fact, according to the report given to Olusegun Obasanjo, to die in few months. So Obasanjo was expecting that Yar'Adua would die during the campaign, so that with that, the Electoral Act says that when that happens, they will need to put an extension when a prominent candidate in a very important national election dies, before the election will be postponed and Obasanjo could spend more time in office. That was the plot. That was why when Umaru Yar'Adua collapsed in, I think it was in Kano, and he flew out of Nigeria and, to Germany. And Obasanjo was doing a campaign in Ibadan, if I am if I remember vividly. Obasanjo was in campaign, PDP campaign, presidential campaign for Yar'Adua Yaradua was in Germany. PDP were in Lagos campaigning for him to be president. And Obasanjo put a phone call through to Yaradua because there was a rumor that Yaradua was dead in Nigeria. So Obasanjo was like, Umaru, are you dead? Many of you remember that scenario. So eventually, the plan then was either Obasanjo would continue and he wouldn't sell to the north at the time. He wouldn't sell a southern candidate to the north at the time. So therefore, he brought Goodluck Jonathan, another not interested in leadership candidate, accidental leader. Jonathan was already preparing to become governor of Bayelsa State. In fact, he's already printed the posters. He was now governor of Bayelsa State because of the impeachment of Alamesia during that year. So Jonathan was now preparing to contest to be president, to be governor of Bayelsa State. Obasanjo dragged him into it. You know, when you pick people who are not really interested, they will remain loyal to you. And in the process, you still feel like you are in power. So at the end of the day, it was two things. If Yaradua will not die before election, it means that one way or the other is going to die, and the power will still come back to this one that I'm going to pick. Someone who never, ever dream of becoming anything in Abuja at all, at least at that time. So Obasanjo dragged Jonathan from Bayelsa, put him into that race. One way or the other, the power remains with Obasanjo. If Yaradua live for another 1 or 2 years, if he's lucky, eventually, Goodluck Jonathan will succeed him. And I think that was the permutation. You know the story, Abi. You all know how it all ended. Jonathan today didn't get a second term in office because he refused to be Obasanjo's boy, unfortunately. So you see the story. That was how Jonathan lost favor with Obasanjo, because Obasanjo at that time realized that instead of Jonathan to be running to him every day for advice here and there, Jonathan was becoming his own man. The Niger Delta addresses and all of that was taking over Abuja. They were taking over ministries. Jonathan was like doing his own thing, just like that. Then they said, no, Jonathan must not continue. Did they tell you the reason why? The reason is simple. For the first time, Obasanjo felt like he wasn't in power. That wasn't the plan of why he brought Jonathan into government. To federal government. He didn't bring him to join the federal government to be, the man of himself. He was brought in to stand in for Obasanjo so that Obasanjo could still feel like a president after leaving office. For those who remember the story, Jonathan didn't take that route, and Obasanjo eventually had to go back to his vomit. His albatross, his albatross, which is Muhammadu Buhari, his nemesis today, to team up with Buhari. But before he did that, he tried to shake Jonathan in PDP. Obasanjo decided to bring a man, a former governor of Jigawa State. His name is Lamido. You all know Lamido, Governor Lamido of Jigawa. Yes, that was the person. Obasanjo was, in fact, according to the information we received then, was that Jonathan will only complete Yaradua's tenure and he will just go away, while Lamido of Jigawa will succeed Jonathan and complete the tenure of the North in Nigeria as the presidency. But Jonathan, they said, reneged on that agreement. Jonathan wanted to succeed himself. Jonathan said he didn't make any promise to Obasanjo. He didn't make any pledge to anybody. He wanted to go for the second term. And then that was the last stroke that broke the camel's back at the time. So what happened? When Sule Lamido could not get the PDP ticket, could not dislodge Jonathan in PDP, what did they do? They stayed back. They worked out on how to make sure that they divided PDP, divided the camp that could keep Jonathan in power, then stayed back to further wreck the party without leaving the party. And today, that was the same agenda that the likes of the Bodilon criminals put together on Buhari. They had information about Buhari's health issue. They have all the health record. I'm talking about the medical record of Muhammadu Buhari. They know that age will likely be a big of a barrier for him, and they needed to position Osinbajo in a way that it will be someone you cannot do without. That was what Osinbajo was. And it was larger than life, by the way. They love him. At least they pretended to. Anyway, so today, Osinbajo is now an orphan. because the game is the game. Tinubu has they've started flying the kite of Tinubu to be the president in 2023. But let me tell you a story as well. A story that many of you may probably remember. Or if you don't, thank me for sharing this with you. Okay? So, in 2014, when they were forming the APC, it was on record that when it got to a point where they wanted to make a decision on who would deputize, who would be the vice to Buhari, it was a clear, straight to the point position for Tinubu at that meeting, according to the eyewitnesses and so many other records that many of you must have also come across on this. Tinubu wanted to deputize Buhari, but some people rose and they said, no, Buhari is a Muslim. You are a Muslim. We can't put up a Muslim ticket. It was a big issue. Then that discussion was that discussion was leaked into the media, and Nigerians got to hear about it that Buhari Tinubu ticket. It was out of concession. It was out of persuasion. It was out of so many other deliberations, discussions. In fact, it was on record that the only reason why Tinubu wanted to be the vice president of Nigeria with Buhari was he believed that he's been making different deals here and there, that he was never in control of anything when it comes to Abuja politics. In 2011, Goodluck Jonathan government paid Tinubu $2 billion. $2 billion. $2 billion was paid to the opposition party ACN in 2011 by Jonathan's government, PDP government. And in fact, it was Tinubu was caught twice alighting from the presidential jet from Abuja. Jonathan sent a presidential jet to bring Tinubu twice, just 2 weeks before the 2011 election. 2 nights before the election, 2 weeks before the election, 2 nights before the election, and then Tinubu, when Tinubu was accosted, when people said, Tinubu, we saw you in the private jet, we heard that you were invited into the villa, and he said, well, if my president invites me, who am I to say no? We know the story. So Tinubu wanted to he wanted to represent himself in any new merger now that he can't really trust anybody. So, but eventually out of concession, he was given that right to go and bring someone, because we can't do Muslim ticket. People are saying that Buhari is going to Islamize Nigeria. If we do Muslim ticket, this is going to defeat us. We need someone else. And boom, that was how Osinbajo came into the picture. Some of you saw the picture of Osinbajo carrying bag for Tinubu at the airport. Some of you know the picture as I'm saying it now. Many of you have seen that picture. That's what Osinbajo was is or still is to Tinubu. Osinbajo is like this when you have this criminal genius who can, who can turn or twist the hand of time at the most time that you would never ever expect or ever imagine. That's who Osinbajo is. Osinbajo is the brain behind every legal success of Tinubu, whether he's been accused of forgery, accused of corruption, accused of stealing, accused of any manipulation or whatsoever in all his career, especially from 1999 when he became governor of Lagos State. And Osinbajo became the Attorney General and the Commissioner of Justice of Lagos State as well. At the same time, he began the process of defending and building the monumental, humongous political empire that Tinubu has today. Osinbajo is always a kitchen cabinet boy. He is always an errand boy. Bukola Saraki described Osinbajo as a mere commissioner. Because if you, Osinbajo, want to talk to me, that was what Bukola Saraki told him. If you want to talk to me, it is either you are bringing a message from your boss, who happens to be Tinubu. When your boss, Tinubu, was governor, I was governor too. So that is why, and he said, wherever I sat back then, you dare not sit. It is wherever I sat will be where your boss, Tinubu, will sit at the time. So therefore, you are just a mere commissioner. How dare you? And you that we know the story, we know the history of how you became the vice president. You were never even in any contention, but just a consolation for your boss. That's why you became the vice president of Nigeria. Luckily. And then Tinubu didn't forget Saraki for that, for standing against him, for becoming the vice president of Buhari. So the moment Buhari got his second term, fuck it, it's my turn. Yeah, we had a deal, a merger. I should be succeeding in. But all of a sudden, there's this rumor that Osinbajo is going to be the president. He's going to be a great president. Or he's going to be the best president in 2023. Then it's time for us to sacrifice him. Let's sacrifice the con artist, the fake pastor. And that is why you are reading about everything you are reading about today. If you think those who are criticizing Osinbajo, those who are releasing all this damning report on Osinbajo are outsiders, you are as dumb as those Buharidins and Buharididirins, those ones that are my neighbors in Odogbolu, Ogun State. I call them the Buhari Denotus, the Buhari Dijatus, the Buhari Shukus in the east, the Ungoziaris of this world in the east. Then we have the Mumumadus, the Bele lecturers, the Mumu lecturers. Then we have the ombud slaves, the obedient fools, the fencists, and the Buharism sufferers as well. If you think for a minute, then you are more or less like them. We do know that all those things you are reading about Osinbajo today are coming from the camp of the same people who popped him up in the first place. They are all con men, con artists, fraudulent criminals. That's who they are. I don't know who they are to you. They may be your hero. They may be your role model. They may be whatever they are to you. I'm not taking that away from you. At least we've read it in the we've seen it anyway before now. That the worst criminals do have their own fans too. And when you see all these criminals you call your leaders, they do have their own enablers too. Where do you think, or why do you think I created or coined this name, Buharidins, Buharididirins? Don't you think I'm not referring to your criminal leaders? I'm referring to the enablers. Yeah, the bros do us do giveaway. Bros, who you help? My friend, who you help? The who you help generation, the Indomie generation. Yeah, those who will defend the same criminals who have put them in this perpetuity of want, I'll say it anyway. So today, Osinbajo is being dealt with simply because 2023 is upon us. Tinubu is about to face the toughest political battle of his life. Before now, he was flexing. Opposition is good. Let me tell you something about opposition in Nigeria that some of you may not really know. You may not really know, or probably you do, but you never really sort of took it serious. Let me tell you about opposition in Nigeria. Opposition in Nigeria is a career. Do you know that? Opposition, being in the opposition in Nigeria to some people is actually a career. We have people who have been registering political parties. We have people who are chairmen of different political parties, but they don't have any secretariat. But they are oppositions. They have their own other cash and carry, peanut chasers, and then, crumb chasers, we call the journalists, the brown envelope journalists in Nigeria. Who will listen to them? They give press releases. They are those that you will see when election is 1 year away. They are blabbing. They are blabbing because their doors are opened. That is when they will start swindling unsuspecting public. Come and take our form. Come and join our party. We are going to defeat PDP. We are going to defeat APC. Oh, come here. This is the party for the poor, the party for the people. All scammers, career opposition politicians. Then 2 days or 1 week to the election, you will just hear that 35 political parties endorse Buhari. Eh? Give me the names of the 35 political parties. Eh? My party is there. Your party is there. Your party is there. I didn't endorse Buhari. How could my party endorse? They'll say, my friend, because your party has no presidential candidate. Why is our party not having a presidential candidate? Because your party is a scam. Do you know that? Opposition party, they'll tell you, we are the opposition. We are against it. It's a lie. They are PDP members. They are PDP, APC members too. They start their own different. It's like when you are working for one boss, and then you get this a temporary freedom, or is that not what we call it? Freedom, yeah, graduation or something like that, or I don't know, yeah, where you can indeed go and start your own branch, give it any name, but you are still linked to your parent company, the PDP. You can go and start a ARP, go and start a NRP, go and start DUP, go and start DUDU, or whatever. Go and start anything. Yeah, go on. Assemble people, bring people together. But you will endorse our party, you will endorse our candidate when election is 1 week to election. So there are career opposition party leaders in Nigeria. Are you with me? So let me cut it short to bring everything down to what it is. Osinbajo will be sacrificed. They will keep showing him up. You will keep seeing him standing in for Buhari to what is it called? To oversee the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting. That is just a charade. That is just a distraction. That is just a diversion. It is a common charade. It's absolute nothing. His office is empty. He has no one working for him genuinely anymore. He was given, let me tell you this, right? Let me tell you this. Osinbajo was given all his aides, all those who are working for Osinbajo, right? Even with those, including those he himself recommended as staff in his office. They are all approved by Abba Kyari, Buhari's chief of staff, okay? And it is under that, under this same arrangement as well, that Osinbajo, think Osinbajo, vote Buhari, think pastor, vote dictator, think this and vote that. Osinbajo, he created empower. He created, what is it called? 5,000 naira for poor people in Nigeria. They said they are giving 5,000 naira to poor people in Nigeria. Up to this day, Osinbajo will tell us, oh, we have fed 20 million school children. We have spent 890-something billion naira. We kill 1,000 cows every day. In fact, we cook 1 million GBT. All na fraud. At the end of the day, what Osinbajo succeeded in doing is that he just helped them created one loophole, one what do you call it? Conduit pipe. Yeah. Now today, that same ideology, that same brain that Osinbajo put together for Buhari to create that 5,000 naira for poorest Nigerians. They have created a ministry out of it now. And Buhari's girlfriend, Buhari's longtime girlfriend, Ajia Farouk, is in charge of that. And when Buhari first want to put money there for her, you know, when you just open a shop for your new girlfriend or your old-time girlfriend who has been loyal, you put a lot of money there as a big man, as a sugar daddy. So do you know what Buhari did? He opened a ministry of disaster management, so that they can be in charge of sharing the trader money, market money, trader this or that, and then they can start giving poorest Nigerians 5,000 naira every month. Do you know they have manufactured the numbers now? The numbers of Nigerians who are poor that they are giving money to every month now is 670,000 Nigerians. Some of you who are begging for money on Facebook, you should go and register with the Ministry of Disaster Management under Buhari's girlfriend, Ajia Farouk. They will give you 5,000 naira every month. Even if not that one you they get, at least you can come back here and defend Buhari like your life depends on it. You stop reading all these things that all these influencers are telling you about Buhari. Go and register to collect your own 5,000 naira. Osinbajo ran it for 3 years. You didn't collect a kobo. You voted for them again. Now, Ajia Farouk is in charge. Go and register to collect your own 5,000 naira. So also, when Buhari opened the new shop for his girlfriend, the new ministry, he just put about 600 billion naira there. 600 billion, wow, that's a lot of money. Mama can cook now. All of you who are hungry, you can go to the Ministry of Disaster Management in your local government now and eat. 500, almost 600 billion naira is what Buhari gave Madam for you this year, next year alone. Stop disturbing us on social media. Go over there and then register to collect your own free money. So Osinbajo is going into a political nothingness after this. He's the luckiest houseboy ever. He's the luckiest political errand boy ever. And is the most successful fraudulent fake pastor ever in Nigeria. And I'll tell you why. Have you ever seen any fake pastor become vice president of a country before? Have you? Have you seen any fake pastor, any fake redeemed pastor, become vice president or become a state governor before? No. He's the luckiest houseboy ever. He's a scam artist. And I know that some of you will watch me right now and your blood will be boiling. Yes, why are you saying all of this about man of God? Man of God, kill you, Dano. Kill you there. We know the way you describe man of God in Nigeria, we know what it simply means. It means that God of man. Because, yes, I'm a man of God. That makes you feel angry. You can hit your head on that rock that you're standing beside. If it hurts you, hit it again. If you feel hot, hit your head again until you lose that head. I'm a man of God. The reason is this, I won't lie to you. I have never faced you to tell you that we have approved 2 billion naira for Ogoni cleanup, Ogoni land cleanup. That was 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Osinbajo, a fake pastor, faced us. Ogoni cleanup. He took a microphone and he told the whole Ogoni land that Buhari's government has approved 2 billion naira for the cleaning up of Ogoni land, and they will start the work next week. In fact, the Oyinbos are here. Look at them. Look at all of them. The Oyinbos are here. We will start Ogoni cleanup. Very soon, all of you will start going back to your farm to fish. A pastor, he lied. There is no 2 billion naira for Ogoni cleanup. Are you with me? He's a pastor. As a pastor, the minister of condolences, burial arrangement, and so on and so forth. As a pastor, he told us at the time that, let me even put it this way. You wouldn't expect a pastor to see a document, to see a file that is looting and stealing from the internally displaced people in Nigeria. Internally displaced people. It's like some of you who are currently in Lagos. Then the news come. They say, hey, they've ransacked your village in Ondo State. All the people there, they are now living in Ibadan. They've moved them to Ibadan, IDP camp in Ibadan. And you later hear that a pastor supervised the stealing, looting, shortchanging of those people, internally displaced people. Ooh, see, there is nobody in this life, except if you are very much heartless like Osinbajo. You will not see that and look away, and I'll tell you the story. You heard about Nema. Buhari was sick, he was in London. Osinbajo was in Nigeria. During that time, you know, some of you will say, oh boy, if I just become president of Nigeria for one day. Osinbajo was president of Nigeria for over 100 days, and a lot happened. Begede, we know in what Yoruba says, you know, Begede, when they say Begede goes on fire, I don't know what Begede is. But they just say that Begede, that something goes like explode, like a balls. NEMA, National Emergency Management Agency. They were in charge of disaster. They were those in charge of IDP camp and so on and so forth. Under Osinbajo, China gave us about 1,600 bags of rice worth of, I don't know how they measure the ton. Under Osinbajo. They gave us bag of rice. I mean, they gave us a ship of rice. And they say we should just offload it. Take it to the IDP people. Feed them with it. China was giving us that food to go and share with our internally displaced persons. Osinbajo, under Osinbajo. Now our rice, China don't give us as a gift. Our own seaport in Nigeria, inspected by our own custom officers. Only for them to say the rice enter demurrage. And they say federal government no clear am. So we will pay. It's like me paying money to clear my own thing from my own pot. That was what they did under Osinbajo. Osinbajo approved 5.5 billion naira for them to go and clear the rice because it don't enter demurrage. NEMA received the money, cleared the rice. Then the rice disappeared. Only that when they started the investigation into it, they will realize that months after they've got the bag of rice. When the investigation began, the bag of the rice was actually in the storage of the rice was actually in the storage of the NEMA officials in their headquarters. So they shared the rice. The IDP people, they shared 5.5 billion naira. The money was approved by Osinbajo. No recourse to the governing body of NEMA. There was a governing body of NEMA that should have sat, and in fact, they don't have that authority to approve 5.5 billion without the National Assembly knowing about it. But Osinbajo approved it, collected the money, shared the money. And when Buhari came back, they realized that, oh boy, this one, Ogbolokpo star boy, Abawiri, and that's who they are. So, at the end of the day, right, they say, oh, do not say that. You are a Yoruba man. Let me tell you something. Since Osinbajo has been stealing for Tinubu and helping Tinubu to keep record of all his loot, all his hidden properties, both in Nigeria and abroad, since Osinbajo has been managing that for him, Osinbajo is from Ikenne. At least, that's what we're told. He said he's originally from Ikenne. Right? Ikenne local government in Ogun State. Go to Ikenne. At least if Osinbajo is not from Ikenne, I know that his wife is from Ikenne. His wife, Dolapo, is from Ikenne and related to the Awolowo family. Have you been to Ikenne yourself? Have you been to the Awolowo house in Ikenne? Have you been to the road in front of Awolowo's house in Ikenne? Have you traveled the road in Ikenne? Osinbajo is from Ogun State. There's no special treatment that Lagos is getting from him, being from Lagos State on his own anyway. Rather, it has always been about self-serving, greed, selfishness, the pretense that they are actually doing this for their people. They are not doing anything for their people, and he's not alone. There are other criminals like him that says they are doing this or that for Yoruba when they are actually dealing with Yorubas, sadly. And that's where Osinbajo belongs to. So when this whole game is going to come crashing, when this whole game is going to come down, I, my ego, will be here, and I will tell you, and I will remind you too, that I'm a Yoruba man. We just never really support all these lies. If you can see through them, then you will not be led by them. So thank you so much for your time this afternoon. To my friends on YouTube, I hope you heard my voice so clearly throughout the presentation. So this is where we draw the curtain. Thank you very much for your time. I'll see you some other time. Thank you.
Security, no improve. After the election, where them do, we still they wait for the change. All the promise when they make, they don't do the money where the food. As everybody want improve. Since you come, no tears and pain, we don't tire to complain, I see the bad way you've been doing.